I stand here tonight, breathing a big sigh of relief. Thank you, Iowa.
The aftermath of that Monday in Iowa, chock full of all sorts of fascination. The man who believes second place is for losers. The guy slapped with a label that might not be so bad after all. The lady who looked about ready to hug every single person in the room for saving her Arkansas bacon. And with no disrespect to Iowa, why anybody should believe what occurred in those caucus rooms is really so important after all. Sally Forth then opened the cage doors for this expanded edition of The Political Animal. Why? Because we can. He is the senior political contributor at Forbes.com, co-host of Steele and Ungar on Sirius XM POTUS 124, Rick Ungar, joined by the former head of FEMA who rules the Rocky Mountain airwaves weekday afternoons at 6:30 KHOW, Michael Brown. Gentlemen, let's get started. Pleasure to talk to you both, and especially to you, Mr. Ungar, because I'd like to start out here on the left side of things. Listening to Mrs. Clinton talk about relief, I swear it was almost, any minute I wanted her to say, "Thank you so much, you really love me."
Well, she had reason to be relieved. I got to tell you, she didn't, in my mind, get a big win there, obviously. At best, it's a tie. But a loss for Hillary would have been a very serious problem as she heads into New Hampshire, where we expect she will lose that. She's got to get to South Carolina in one piece and without seeing that firewall crumble. So she did get out by the skin of her teeth last night and did have reason to be happy about it.
All right. So, Michael, then should Hillary Clinton be standing here today saying that we won?
Oh, I think she should be grateful for those two-headed coins that, you know, no matter which way the coins were flipped, she was going to win. So I think she won by the skin of her teeth. And I was most amazed, and I know this is way off topic, but I was most amazed watching her acceptance speech, watching poor old Bubba behind her. I actually worry about Bill Clinton. He looked, his mouth was agape. I thought he was going to drool for a moment. I was really concerned that the guy is just, there's something wrong there. So it was, to me, it was just.
It's funny. We just had the same
really
conversation.
What do you mean? Okay,
did you really?
You did?
We just had the same exact conversation, and I'm not going to laugh about it because I really was wondering if there's something that may not be right with Bill Clinton's health. It was very strange.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Well, if we look at all of this, Bill Clinton certainly has not made a great impact on the campaign trail. That is obvious now after Iowa. So here comes the next question, I guess, and I even posed this to some other people here in the show tonight. Is it just possible, Rick, that Hillary Clinton, if she's smart, goes right from Iowa, right to South Carolina, leaves New Hampshire behind and says, look, I'm going to lose it, let's walk away, and don't embarrass myself any further?
Actually, it wouldn't be smart to do that. She doesn't have to spend the entire time there leading up to next Tuesday's vote. But she does have to spend a few days there. Remember, she's got a debate there Thursday night. She's got to spend some days there. She's got to make it look like even though she's going to lose, she cares about the people of New Hampshire. And then she can move along to South Carolina, where I still think she's in pretty solid shape.
All right. Now, Michael, here's what caught me today. Hillary Clinton has always said, I'm going to go after the big guns. I'm going to go after the money. I'm going to make sure that there's no more influence in Washington. And then it hits Politico today, and everybody basically knew this, but now all of a sudden it's out there. She takes $8 million in total and now a $6 million check from George Soros. Things that make you go, Mrs. Clinton, I thought you weren't going to take that kind of money. This is part of her problem, yes?
Yes, and it's part of everyone's problem. And maybe it's part of my problem, too, just having spent 6 years in D.C. and being the age that I am. I'm just jaded and cynical. I'm not surprised, look, and I'll bash both sides, that they go after these targets, and the minute they go after the targets, they then turn and look over their shoulder and say, oh, by the way, can you help me out in this deal, too? So I'm no longer shocked by it. What disappoints me, it's okay for me not to be shocked by it because I'm getting old and cynical, but I wish the public would be shocked by it. I wish the public would say, wait a minute, there's just something inherently wrong with either what you're saying or what you're doing.
I will give you that on both sides. We do have to talk about that, and we will, as a matter of fact. So stand by. There is much more to cover than what we can do in a mere 5 minutes. Why? I said it at the top. Because we can. This troika will return. We turn to the right and dissect the single biggest question facing everyone heading for New Hampshire. Will they have enough time to hit the tax-free liquor and tobacco outlets on the way out of the state on I-95 next week? Okay, maybe that's the second question, but it's pretty close to where we're going. Stay with us. The Hard Line continues right after this.
We will go on to get the Republican nomination.
We will unite our party, we will grow our party, and we will defeat Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders or whoever they nominate.
We will win by speaking the truth with a smile.
So let's smile. Welcome back to the special post-Iowa edition of The Political Animal. First, he's pulling obviously for the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl because saying anything else on the airwaves in Colorado will mean banishment to a small hovel in Leadville. Yes, that is a real place, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about, Michael Brown. Joined by the man who, before tackling politics and becoming the common-sense liberal, was a president of Marvel Productions, and whom I would never ask out loud for him to get me a personalized autograph of Stan Lee because it just wouldn't be ethical. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, Rick Unger.
I can,
All right.
I can sell you some of mine.
No. I want the real stuff. To Ed, Excelsior, Stan Lee. All right, let's get to work here. Rick, I come to you first on this one. Ted Cruz comes up big, the winner in Iowa last night. But what is it that makes him any different than Santorum or Huckabee in the fact that they won and they never got the nomination?
That's a great question, actually. To be fair, if the measuring stick is whether or not he'll get the nomination, I don't think he is any different than those two because I don't think he will. However, he definitely goes out into the other primaries with a lot more strength than either Huckabee or Santorum ever had. Everybody pretty much knew that their only shot was going to be Iowa. Santorum actually won a few more, but I think Cruz is better positioned than that. But I really don't think that Cruz has the support to get the nomination.
All right, now that's a good point. And Michael, I come to you because the word electability now comes up here, because as you talk to people, read all the various pundits, if you will, they will say that he may win, but he simply is too far. He's too extreme to be able to get the independents and the Democrats, and he is not electable. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. And I think here's what Ted has to do. I think Ted has to recognize that if he plays this outsider game, look, the reason people say he's not electable and the reason people say they don't like him is because Mitch McConnell doesn't like him, Harry Reid doesn't like him. There's not one U.S. senator that I know of, including his senior senator from Texas, John Cornyn. And if he plays that card correctly, that they don't like him because he actually stood up for the things he promised the people of Texas, then I think that propels him a little bit more. But what I saw last night, and look, Cruz won because he came in first, Trump lost because he came in second, and Rubio won because he came in third, only a point behind Trump. But the thing that turned me off about Ted Cruz last night was this, I don't know what it was, kind of acceptance speech or victory speech. 32 minutes? Good grief. Be gracious. Leave them wanting more. Tell them how much you appreciate them. Tell them we're on to New Hampshire and exit stage right. So I think he's got to learn to tone this down and connect more, be more human about it and not so preachy about it.
All right, now I want to talk about Marco Rubio here, and you mentioned playing a card. Now, he called his rise to third, a night they said would never happen because people said he didn't have the support, his hair wasn't gray enough, and his boots were too tall. Here's what he said.
Tonight here in Iowa, the people of this great state have sent a very clear message. After 7 years of Barack Obama, we are not waiting any longer to take our country back.
Now, I'll tell you what, Rick, Michael makes some very good points about what Cruz did, but here's what Rubio did. He hit all the points. He said a lot of the same things that he has been saying over and over again, but it was a very up speech. It really kind of captured a lot of people. And now they're firing back at him saying he's too establishment. Rick, we've all been in this game for a while.
Well, I mean,
maybe being establishment is not a bad idea.
Usually at the end of the day, it's not. What I found fascinating about Rubio's speech, he did what Trump did. Rubio said, they said I couldn't do this. Well, the truth is, for the past 2 or 3 weeks, we've all been saying he would do this. I think he got a higher vote tally than some of us expected, but we've all been saying he was going to come in third. Trump did the same thing. He says, they told me I shouldn't even show up in Iowa. They told me this. Look at me now. I'm second place. Trump has been in the lead there for months. So these speeches are kind of foolish. In terms of establishment, at the end of the day, if we go by anything historic, the establishment candidate is traditionally who ends up winning the nomination. Mitt Romney, John McCain, it goes on and on and on. It's almost always the establishment candidate.
We've only got about 90 seconds left. Rick, let me stay with you for the first answer on this. Is it fair to say, though, that Marco Rubio can celebrate at this point, but the immigration issue is going to continue to haunt him, and this will hurt him down the road somewhere?
Actually, I don't really think so. I think he overcame it, and he should be celebrating, and I think he's definitely going to be a real player in all of this. And as much as I may not like saying it as a Democrat, he does have the best chance to win a general election.
All right, Mike, is it fair to say then that Donald Trump, we haven't mentioned his name, I only got about 30, 40 seconds left here, he finished second, but if you look ahead, it's going to be tough for him, even if he wins in New Hampshire, which doesn't seem to be that much of a lock anymore. He's got some problems because you've now got South Carolina looming very quickly as Rubio country all of a sudden.
The lesson for Donald Trump, which I don't think he's going to learn, is you can still be this outsider, you can still be the maverick, all of these things, but you still have to have an organization, you've got to have a ground game, you've got to have the people out to support getting your troops out, all of that. You can't just rely on your celebrity status. I don't think he's going to learn that lesson.
Okay, and very quickly before we leave, you are picking the Broncos then on Sunday, am I correct?
Absolutely. I've heard this crap about, 24 to 20. No, it's the Broncos
all
at
right.
least 20 or 30.
All right, I'm telling you, and believe me, Leadville's a possibility.
It's not.
I love Leadville. You know what? Come, you get your butt out here. We'll both go
I've
to
been there.
Leadville.
I've been there. We'll talk about that another time. 5 seconds, Rick. Who in the bowl? Who do you like?
It's all sympathy to my buddy Brownie there. It ain't
Unger?
going to be Denver.
Unger.
Okay, there you go. No, wait.
If my mother wanted to call me Unger, she would have named me Unger.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure. Thanks so much, Rick Ungar and Michael Brown. Talk to you soon. Stay with us. The fastest 60 minutes in news, The Hardline, still has a ways to go as we head deep in the heart of Texas and around the dial. Next.